What's up? We're back and we're going to break down three things in this video, all somewhat related to the DCEU. Um, Batgirl got Miss Marvel, Bad Boys for Life directors, Injustice animated movie from DC, and Henry Cavill is in the Highlander reboot. Nick, do you want to break down that Highlander reboot for us?
I didn't know too much about it prior, but from what I've been reading up, it's apparently like this really big fantasy swords and swords and monsters type franchise that has been going on for a while. And having Henry Cavill in the lead role, I think, is pretty exciting. I think him in as a Geralt of Rivia in The Witcher, I think was like a really great casting and shows he knows his way around a sword. So I think the idea of him being in a much more like larger scale type feature, I think is exciting. I think what's also exciting is that Stileski, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, from the John Wick movies, the creator of the John Wick movies, is directing. So knowing that Cavill can do action and sell it, and Stileski can shoot it and just conceive sequences, I think that on its own is going to be make for a pretty entertaining project. It's still in development, but I'm a huge Henry Cavill fan, and I'm excited to see Stileski like step away from the John Wick franchise, jump into something new, and I don't know, yeah, I think it's just going to be a nice kind of sort of break in what both director and actor is doing currently.
I was going to say John Wick director meets Henry Cavill. I think that's great chemistry right there.
Yeah.
Like that's you have me sold as of right now. I'll be
Mhm.
excited to hear more news about it, but I think just as like a general premise to hear and hearing Henry Cavill going onto new stuff, I think is always exciting because I think
Yeah,
he's an underrated actor
very much so. Yeah.
that doesn't necessarily get the props that he deserves.
Mhm.
Let's move on though, and we're gonna move on to the big kahuna for me, and that's the Injustice animated movie. Um, Nick, I told you this before we started recording.
Yeah.
I recently, like last week, watched the video game cutscenes
Mhm.
of this, and I was like, "This is awesome, man! Like, this is what I need in the DCEU."
Mhm.
And then, literally, I'm not joking. A week later, it's like, "Oh, here you go. There's an animated movie," and I was ecstatic about this. What were your thoughts when you heard the news?
This is really interesting just because I'm someone who has played both both games, Justice Gods Among Us and Injustice 2. And like it's probably DC's most popular like Elseworld alternate universe storylines of the past decade, and people have been asking for some sort of animated take for a while. So very interested to see what they do, because like you already they did a prequel series, a prequel comic series already. You have two video games. It's like, is this going to be a new tale within it? Are they going to adapt certain, like, are they going to adapt the comic, which is like would be its own, like, would demands at least two more sequels from it, because they cover like 5 years worth of stuff. So it's interesting because it is such a rich alternate universe depiction of DC. What I personally would love for them to do is like tell like new stories from that like world, just not like readapt the same things. Although I wouldn't be mad if they did just adapt like the comic series or something in between the games, just because it is like a very like intense like world and story. And as long as Kevin Conroy is voicing Batman, I consider the project a win already. As long as you can get Conroy on board, and I don't doubt that he'd be down to do it, I think we're already in a good spot because he is Batman.
Yeah, yeah, that we can agree on. I think they'll probably be doing a straight up adaptation of the video games or comics. I don't know what they'll end up doing, but I think it is just a really cool premise. The idea of Superman in another world turning
Right.
bad, and I'm not going to spoil why, just in case you haven't seen or heard about the Injustice
Yeah.
video games and comic books, because I think that whole reveal is really cool, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it. But that sort of premise of Superman becoming like a ruler of the world, I think is fascinating. And I think there's like really cool themes that you can explore. And I think DC animated films have the potential to really do that.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see where this goes.
Mhm. It's an adaptation of like one of the most popular comic book titles of the past, again, decade. So um definitely like smart move to capitalize on that. And I think this is gonna be exciting for everyone to like witness whatever it is unfold.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And staying in the DC universe, going towards live action, Batgirl has finally got its director from Miss Marvel, a few episodes of that, and then Bad Boys for Life. Sorry if I butcher their names, but it's sorry I can't read either. Bilal Fallah and Abdi El Arbi.
I
Uh,
think that's correct.
hopefully I pronounced that correctly. If not, my apologies. But I'm a fan of this piece. I really was a fan of Bad Boys for Life. I came in with being like, oh, these are guilty pleasure movies, and
Yeah.
I think they fully know how to indulge in that, and I think they did a really good job directing in general.
Mhm.
And I'm curious, they got hired for Miss Marvel, so Feige saw something
And they'll know
that he really
superheroes.
liked.
And they know
Yeah,
superheroes.
exactly. I think they fit the genre in the superhero genre, and they probably have the experience directing now
Mhm.
in these big budget films. So I think it's a good fit. Nick, what are your thoughts?
I remember like first like when I watched Bad Boys for Life, and I was like, oh, that was low-key really stylish. Like a lot of like the action sequences were just like not typical Michael Bay like explosion extravaganza. It was like there was some like pretty cool like stylistic stuff they did for a lot of the like fist fights or whatnot. I remember looking up their names. I was like, I hope they get more work in the future because like I think they deserve it. And then now next thing you know, Marvel and now DC, like props to them. That's always really exciting to see like a director just or duo of directors in this case like just take off. Um I think this is exciting. It's always reassuring, at least I know for like DC projects to like when they formally attach a name to a project. And so I'm glad to hear that Batgirl is getting the green light because I think Barbara Gordon's a very fun character and a um very a character you can do a lot with. She's a very versatile in terms of just storytelling and tone. So glad to see the project going forward. Props to LRB and Fala for nailing the gig. And at the very least, similar to Highlander, at least we'll know we're getting some good action, which I think, always a good thing. Always a good thing.
Yeah, that's always a good bar to have as like the minimum
Mhm.
to going to comic book films with big action sequences. But I think they know how to handle story, and I think they did a good job with that in Bad Boys for Life. And
Mhm.
hopefully, they will in Miss Marvel. We'll know by the end of 2021.
Right.
But I'm excited for it. Let us know what you guys think of all this news in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video, and we'll see you next time.
Peace out.